Okay, so this pattern came from Jordan Fabrics. It's a YouTube video for Jordan Fabrics. I'll try to put the link in for it. And basically, she uses a layer cake. So I cut 10-inch squares. I needed blues and golds and reds or burgundies, and I need 4 squares for each set of 4 blocks, and that's how they go together. So I have 10-inch squares cut in the designated colors. I've already paired them off in 2s, because that's how that goes. That's next. And then I also needed 1-inch strips. So I've got of black. So I've got a bunch of those. This is going to look kind of like stained glass when I'm finished, and it's going to go together with a whole bunch of other blocks from other people, and it's going to make a charity quilt for someone who lost everything in a fire. Alright, sorry about the lighting here. I am working on my ironing board today since my regular workspace is full of other projects I'm working on. So my next step is I've got 2 of these paired up. I've got them lined up pretty well around the sides, and I'm just going to do a random diagonal cut towards the middle. Doesn't have to be centered, and they're all going to be different. So I just need these 2 to be the same. So one random cut. I'm going to mark these towards the middle with a little marker first. And Donna on her web page does a much better version of this. She's much better set up for teaching. So I'm going to mark these in the middle because they're going to have to go back together like that. Oh, I hope I can see that. I didn't think that blew through very well, but oh yeah, I can see it. And then I'm going to mark the middle of one of these strips. And they're extra long. There's going to be extra, so I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect in the middle, but pretty easy to find the middle, isn't it? And I'm just going to mark a little bit on the edge so that that gets caught up in the seam allowance, and then it won't show. It's just chalk, and it'll come out, but I still don't want it to show. So one little mark there, and one little mark on the other side. And then I have to make sure I did this right, because when I did one yesterday, I did it backwards. And I wound up with it. Okay, this will be right. So I'm going to sew this to this, to the right side. I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to sew this one on to the other side. And then I'm going to do the same for the other 2. And I'm going to do that with the whole stack, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I have all these sets cut and sewn, and then I sorted them into, I had a lot of these blues, so I sorted them into the dark blues and the light blues, and then all I need to do is pair them again, like this, with them facing, you know, kind of the same way. Doesn't have to be the same way. A lot of them aren't the same way, but I want to make sure I have 2 different blues, and I'm going to do it this way. Difference between the, and you know, one red and one gold, and then I'm going to cut them this way. So that's what's next on the list, is just pairing them up, and hopefully when I get to the last one, let's see, that's 2 golds. When I get to the last one, hopefully they don't match up perfect. It comes out right. It comes out evenly distributed. Wow, those 2 are pretty close to the same cut, but that's okay. Oh, that one got a little crinkled sitting there, but that's all right too. This way. And while I was working on these, I was thinking about the next quilt I'm going to be starting after the one I'm working on is finished, because I've got to finish that one first. I was thinking about that, and I was going to do it, a fandom quilt for my other grandson, and I was going to do it the same way I did the first one. Oh, these edges didn't line up very well together, but that's okay because these are going to get trimmed down to 9.5. So I'm just going to center that one the best I can and then go on from there. But I was thinking about doing the next one for my grandson. Instead of doing it like I did the last one, the fandom quilt, the last one, I might use this. I'll use bigger squares to start with, but it's a lot of bright colors, so I think the black would look really good in between them. So I might do that. I've got to get these done and get them in the mail very soon. Hopefully today or tomorrow I'll get them done and get them in the mail on Monday. It's been a few days since I've worked on these. I've had a busy work schedule, so this is what I got going. Let's see. Gold. Oh, that worked out perfectly. And I thought it would because I was pretty sure I had the same number of reds as I had golds, and I had the same number of dark blues as I had the two lighter blues, so got this all worked out. Perfect. So I'm going to get my cutting mat out from underneath my stack there. And straight ruler. So pretty much all I'm doing next is I'm going to just take this one on the top, and this is hard for me to work like this because the tripod is in my way, but these are lined up pretty well. I'm going to do it this way. It's easier for me to cut that way. These are lined up pretty well. These are not going to line up because they were all random cuts. And I'm just going to cut them all like this. Just random wherever. And then the same as I did before. Take this one away. Mark these two in the middle, and then put the black in between. I did buy marking pencils. I'm going to find them in just a minute, and I'm going to get working on this, and I'll be back when these are all put back together. But now you can see how they're going to look because they'll have that black in between, like that. They'll have that black in between, so it's going to look kind of like stained glass. And then once they all go back together, they're all going to be different, bordered up to each other. So that's where I'm at, and I'll be back when I get this next step done. Alrighty, these charity blocks are finished. Each one is different. They might have the same colors, but they're all different. They will go together with, oh, I don't know, about 80 other blocks that other people made. And they will make a beautiful quilt for someone who lost everything in a fire. So I'm going to pack these up and get them off in the mail. I did already trim them for her because I felt that trimming 90-something blocks herself was more, before she puts them together, was more work than she should have to do. So I trimmed mine. I think most of the other people did too. So yeah, these are going to my Facebook group to be donated. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hey, leave me a comment. Do you quilt? Do you do charity quilts? Do you do charity blocks? Do you do anything like that? Leave me a comment. Thanks for joining.